something where
They want to go to the moon on the dark side.
China is going in and investing money in countries, and so they loaning money where
Yeah.
they fail to pay it back and they take over.
Yeah.
That's what part of their strategy.
Yeah. Hey James, how you doing, buddy?
All right. Chrome OS 74 hits the stable branch, brings audio
good.
output support to Linux apps.
Say that one more time.
Chrome OS 74 hits the stable branch, brings audio output support for Linux apps and more. They're saying they're bringing audio output to Linux apps on Chrome. What does that mean to you guys?
Doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
I don't use Linux on
Chrome
Chrome.
browser just updated to 74.
Yeah.
So
No,
I don't know if they mean
No,
they say
they-
Chrome OS, but
the Chrome OS just updated to 74 as well.
oh, okay.
At least my Chromebook just updated to 74.
I keep meaning to get one of those things. Some of them are pretty decent specs and cheap.
So they're saying that the Linux apps now support audio on the Chromebook. That's
Okay.
what I took.
Yeah.
Okay. And whereas before the apps didn't.
I
you doing, Mike?
never used Linux on my Chromebook, so
Linux
Yeah, how do you go
apps.
about doing
Like
that?
that.
the newer generation, the newest
Mm-hmm.
Chromebooks support running Linux apps, and it's got like a little virtual machine right there.
Like Flatpak or something?
I-
Or
I
one? There's like 4 of those, I think.
I don't know. It's running a little virtual machine somewhere, and you can
Well, I
run
don't think
Linux
it's a virtual
apps.
machine because Chrome OS is basically Linux underneath, isn't it?
Used to be.
It used to be. I
I
don't
thought
know if
it's its
still
own
is or
thing
not.
now, isn't it?
Well, it was always kind of separate. I mean, it's still Linux, but it doesn't mean you can run Linux apps.
It's just
was-
enough
it-
Linux to run Java.
Yeah, it was running like the Linux kernel, I think,
Yeah.
but it wasn't
Mhm.
running Linux per se. But
There's
now
new
it can run
features.
Linux apps. Maybe the app packs or whatever those things are called.
Yeah. There's Flatpak, there's
Well, it can run Android
Um,
apps too, right?
It will
Yeah.
it will run Android apps, but I'm not impressed with either one actually. I mean, why run that stuff on a Chromebook?
Oh, Leroy, you have a camera in your car, right?
Yeah.
Vincente was out there.
Was he trying to get it?
He was with his phone taking pictures of. So when he comes in, tell him that you're.
I've
tell him
got
that
it.
you saw it on your. You got an alert that somebody was messing with his car.
Yeah, and you saw some guy that looks like him looking
Nosing
at
around.
He's
Suspicious
taking a
looking.
picture of the thing sitting on the dash, I bet.
Just say your dash cam caught something funny.
Looked like
I wish my
terrorist
dash
behavior.
cam would actually do that. That would be cool.
Well, as far as he knows, it does.
Yeah.
But then he would want to see the pictures.
He
Yeah.
says, well, they were just, you didn't say
He
them.
didn't save them, it just was rolling.
He gave you an alert and you looked at it and so, before you could record it.
I personally, I don't see much reason to run Linux apps on a Chromebook.
yeah.
I don't see much reason to run.
There's a few Chrome apps I'd like to run in Linux.
Yeah.
Either way, you can.
Sorta,
Yeah.
yeah.
Kinda.
Some of them will run on Linux with no problem.
Yeah.
I don't know. They I don't know. I don't want to know.
Did somebody have to go to court today? Or?
No, twice a year I get a haircut. Today was the day.
Whether you need it or not.
Yep.
Let's see. Okay, I'm Jim, and let's see. Anything? I'm working on replacing the air conditioner condenser fan motor that I replaced replaced in August. I'm gonna replace it with a generic, so I wire it up and that's it. I don't have to use anybody's starter circuit or anything. Just boom. Don't know why that happened again.
So what's that, the motor or the starter circuit?
The motor is looks like it's open, got an open starter winding.
Marcus.
Okay.
It's been run one time
Nice.
to test it out, and it started up, and it's the air conditioner. So I just turned it on to see it, and it was seized, and then I loosened it up, and it still wouldn't start. And then the start winding is open. So I'm just buying a generic. They wanted $211 for a generic motor. So I got the part number, got it off Amazon, and ordered one off Amazon for $60 instead of $211. I'm just going to put a generic in, and
Yeah.
you just put 208 volts, and you have select the direction, and it runs. That's it. That's it. No starter circuit. It has its built-in starter capacitor.
Yeah.
So you don't do anything. So that's my fun. And also iSpy got a patch which saved me from my CPU burning, my laptop from burning itself up at 85-90% CPU utilization. This has been going on since I added so many cameras. It's been, my laptop's been useless for anything else, and now it's down to 30 to 50%, which is wonderful. So iSpy's made their code more efficient somehow.
Cool.
And
Hi.
hello.
Sorry, I missed everyone's updates.
I saw you on my dash cam.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were messing with my car.
Everything is okay there. I'm watching.
So we're introducing
Oh,
ourselves.
so my name's Leo, and
Anything interesting this
I
week?
have not. Yeah, I was to say I've been working too much with code. We've got a system in pilot, and so no, I haven't had a chance to do anything cool yet. So I mean, I would love to. I jokingly suggested, like, I don't know, the first meeting I came in, we could have an RPi with a camera and running the facial libraries and just count every unique face that came into the room.
That'd be cool.
And I think I might bring that.
Okay.
But I haven't had a chance to.
When you get ready, we'll sign you up. You know how we are.
That's a project I have an interest in. Yeah, I want something that'll recognize my boss and my boss's boss. No, I'm serious.
Oh, okay.
And auto switch your screen over to a spreadsheet when they come close.
I had something real similar to that years ago.
I can't remember. There was some game that you could hit. You could hit a key on it.
Escape.
Was it just
Escape
escape?
and turned into a Lotus 1, 2, 3
Yes,
spreadsheet.
that's right.
Yeah.
I love that.
So you've been playing golf on it, yeah.
I'm Steve. I brought toys if anybody wants them. A pair of solid state relays. These things are rated 280 volts at 75 amps each.
Wow, those are pretty serious.
Yeah, those are for like an air compressor.
That's
And
neat.
Yeah.
dot matrix display. It's a 20 pin. I know nothing about it. It was in a piece of equipment I tore apart, and if anybody wants it, you're welcome to it.
What's the other one?
He grabbed.
Of course, got a heat sink on it.
Yep.
Yippee!
Yeah, it needs
No, I
a
was
heat
just gonna
sink
see
to get
that
up
had
that
a-
high.
That's what I was going to see.
20 pins. It's odd. I never dealt with any of the 20 pin ones.
I was going to see if there was a.
It is back
Some
on.
ID on it. Inspect
Who wants the other one?
Yeah. I couldn't find anything on that number.
Yeah, I saw that. Just read that the other day too. Somebody's going on about heat sink. Yeah.
Nice of you to bring those.
That's right up your alley, huh?
I'm trying to
Oh, yeah.
clean out my house. Little bit at a time. If there's a specific thing somebody wants and I've got it, let me know.
You do have an inordinate amount of irons in the fire. It's not like you've been playing everywhere, Steve.
I have some odd stuff.
I got it. I found the pinout.
Really?
Yep. You looked at the wrong number.
I guess. On
You want it
weird
back?
stuff.
You want it back?
In my living room right now, I have a pair of tires off of a two-wheel thing you ride.
Segway.
Segway, yeah.
Oh,
But the motors that are on them, it has the Segway transmissions, but the motors are 600-volt steppers. What the hell?
okay.
Oh well. So if anybody needs a Segway tire, I got those.
What you gonna do with those high power steppers?
Would you like them?
Don't be asking leading
The
questions here.
reason I ask is I have a pair of, I have 2 wheelchairs worth of motors, and I haven't looked at what they are, but
Those tend to be 24-volt DC brush motors.
are they?
Unless it's
Okay.
a newer one and then they're brushless, but they're still 24 volts.
This is 24. Okay, so I've got 4 tires.
He knows that off the top of his head.
Well,
Yeah.
I've got 4 motors and 4 tires, and I was
See
thinking,
what I
you know,
mean?
a four-wheel drive
Everyone has their own.
electric go-kart or something.
Yeah, okay.
But I didn't know if they were steppers or not.
Okay,
Because
I
I
have-
think they, it's the kind that you can. So they're just DC motors.
Yeah.
So hadn't looked at them.
Well, these steppers are about this long and that big square. They are huge. For your cart, I have some motors you may appreciate. They're the motors off of an old 9-track tape machine. So these are the motors that spun up a
Wait a
tape.
minute, 9-track?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Never
they're
heard of 9-track.
Not a
real
stereo.
Not an 8-track.
Yeah, not an 8-track. An old computer storage tape.
Oh.
These are the ones that sat there and ran back and forth with
Oh, yeah.
the vacuum tubes for the tapes.
Mm.
Those things they run on 48 volts DC, but you can put 150 on them and they'll still go. They will spin on a coin cell, no joke. I mean, they're the most efficient motors I've ever played with. They've got 48 segments on the commutator. They're just amazingly efficient, and on 12 volts DC, you cannot stop it with your hand. So anybody wants those? I have a pair of them. They're not matched, unfortunately. One's out of an HP, and one's out of a IBM drive.
Leo's thinking. See the wheels spin.
Well, do you guys? Okay, so you guys met Bob. Did you meet him at the manufactory display? I'm a member there, and I was just there last night. I was helping my friend's son cut out his geometry project. Was building a dodecahedron, which is just a spiky ball, and you make it out of like 60 triangles. And after about the 3rd one he cut out, he's like, Leo has a laser. This sucks. We really need a laser. So I took him down there and we cut those out, and I said, it would be really cool if you had some blue acrylic, a couple of your spikes for, clear plastic, and put an LED inside. So we cut some of those out too. So he, not only is his classmates going to hate him because he didn't have to cut out all his shapes, and they're going to be all perfectly matched, but he's also got some bling on his. And so I was just there last night, and I'm thinking I have all these awesome projects I want to work on, and you can make anything out of anything, and having motors in your project just makes them more fun. So as you guys know, you build robots. They don't go anywhere without motors, so these are just big motors. So yeah, it's making me think.
I have piles of motors. I'll start bringing one every meeting.
I don't think that's the same.
But it's very close.
But it's close. But it's got all that crap on the back.
What'd that come out of? Or did you?
that came out of a time clock. It had a little keypad and a proc sensor. I don't know what else. And the smoke came out. I'm almost positive that that's okay, but I don't know.
Worst case scenario is smoke comes out of it.
Yeah. I suspect if you just hook 5 volts up to it, you can test the backlight and the circuitry.
Well, that one's a 20 pin, so it's probably very, very similar
Yeah.
hookup. I don't see any.
Yeah, it seems like most of the character displays are 16 pin and the dot matrix are mostly 20s. And that's the size I was thinking it was.
There's enough room. You get up here, we can move James' bag and we can make one of them.
There's a YouTube video of someone actually making what appears to be that one actually work.
Okay, Leroy, who are you?
Oh, I think I'm
Club
Leroy.
Vice President, and anything this week for your snicklet?
We got Laura demo that we'll do in a few. I ended up with a bunch of other small projects. I've been trying to clean up my work area. Though. That's really what I've been doing this week. So really, no, nothing new, nothing.
Okay. James, who are you?
James. Nothing really new.
That really does look like it.
Mike, nothing really new. We forgot him since he slid his chair in
Okay, we'll get back to him. He didn't escape
Get
there.
a certified yoga
there.
instructor?
Yoga instructor tomorrow. Chair
Yeah.
yoga.
Oh, I heard he was certified. I didn't know that. Yo.
That's cool.
Mike, nothing new going on. Been busy changing a leaky hot water heater. Saw a little puddle on the floor and I found 3 leaking spots.
Air conditioner, motor, yeah.
It was a good project because my grandson was learning HVAC and he recently learned how to do black iron. So I had him redo the gas line to it because it was. And they had a quick disconnect, but it was like way down the line, and the only way to disconnect from the hot water heater was to unscrew everything. They didn't have a disconnect right at the heater, so like, okay, you can take all that apart and then think about how to make it so it's easy to swap in and out. So they had a good time.
Yeah.
That's great.
It could have been a big leak instead of 3 little leaks.
Yeah, but then changed flooring in the laundry room along with taking the washer and the dryer out and.
Do you have one of those big pans now?
Yeah.
Big pans? Did you have one before?
No.
They are nice.
That's code. I just have to plumb it into the drain. Didn't get that far yet.
Cool. Yeah, I'm glad it didn't just drop out on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want to
Okay,
wait
where
for
are
it,
you?
so as I can see a leak, it's getting fixed now.
Vicente, I was practicing soldering surface mount devices with a hot gun. Interesting.
How's your wave solder doing?
How?
Your wave soldering?
I didn't turn it up. It used
You got a wave solder?
1600 watts. You need a very good outlet for it. But I just dealing with some experiments with the surface mount devices.
Okay.
Putting them in the breakout boards for the proto board to test something. I am just hand soldering them until now.
It's with a gun, heat gun.
I tried several things. I bought a very tiny solder with a very tiny point.
Yeah.
I tried the air gun, the small thing with different tips to blow hot air. Interesting also. And I also have a plate, aluminum plate with temperature setting. You can hit the board by under the side.
What's the best? What's the best?
Well, it depends. I am trying to do a double size surface mount, and I need to experiment with glues, UV curing glues, to have components in both sides simultaneously to solder them. Depends what you want, but I am trying to do something a little complex.
We noticed. A little complex.
To do something that has surface mounting in both sides.
And that's just because.
No, I have an
You got an idea. Okay, good. Okay. All right. I'm Marcus Davis. I'm actually going back around, screwing around with the Alexa skills again. It's been about almost 3 months since I touched it last time. I went back and looked at it again and said, what was I doing? It's kind of crazy trying to keep all this stuff up here sometimes. It's like, oh my God. It was so clear a few months ago. So I'm playing with that again. I really want to get Alexa to give me a status report. So like on IoT stuff to say that, lights on, fireplace on or something like that. So you can get a status report. Garage doors open and stuff like that. So you say, good night Alexa, and she says, okay, status report, house is shut down, oops, you left the garage door up, something like that. That was sort of the goal next, as opposed to getting her to switch on stuff, is to say, okay, give me a status report. And then maybe ultimately you may say, give me a status report, and if she sees something out of line, she says, okay, click, okay, turn the lights off. So that's where I'm.
The other night, I was laying in bed.
All right, so that's personal.
And Alexa said, do you want me to turn off cafe in the kitchen? It brought it up to me, so first time I ever did that. It was on all day. I didn't tell it to turn off. So, and she said, you want me to remind you of this in the future? I said, yes.
She's artificial intelligence.
So she's learning my patterns.
She's learning you.
And it just happened the other day, so I wanted to.
That's kind of scary when that happens. We didn't program it or anything, but hey, that's where we are.
Kind of scary.
It is kind of scary, just like when you leave Meyer and say, "Oh, how was Meyer today?"
So how do you know you're?
I don't know, but then
a smart outlet.
well, I usually do my coffee in the morning on that plug, so it knows that plug was on all day. I didn't tell it to turn off. I unplugged the percolator,
Yeah.
but the plug was still on.
Okay.
And at the same time, when I pulled up the Kindle, it says a little menu there, Alexa skills, do you want to learn more? So it's prompted me to try to, and that was new too, so.
Little nudge.
How many of these smart plugs do you have?
I have three or four. I've got one in the bedroom, I have four of them, one plug. And I had to create a zone in the kitchen called Cafe because it was getting mixed up. So I have a dedicated zone called Cafe and a plug called Cafe in the zone. It doesn't get mixed up anymore.
What about your Wi-Fi extender?
I need to work on that, but after I get my I gotta get my yoga certification, then I got a Wi-Fi extender and I can't get they got a software thing. And he said, I'll teach you, and I kind of backslid, so I gotta get on. Anyway.
Okay, well, so my name's Gail, work's still pretty busy. We're trying to bring a European IEC product into the States and start working on that. And we're still hiring a mechanical and an electrical, if you know of any. So, engineers, so.
In what's the electrical engineer doing?
More like switch gear, some controls type of stuff. Pretty easy controls, really. Just metering, relaying controls, kind of.
I'm a double
Okay.
but I do more
We all do.
software consulting.
That's right.
Yeah, we use some of the communication stuff. It's mostly connecting for it, not really doing much of it.
Wouldn't be here if you didn't do more.
And last but not least, what's up?
Oh, Sean, lately I've been working on hacking Arduino board. I figured out, for the RevRap, I figured out how to make new
Schneider
codes.
Electric.
For it. That's what we've been working on last
I can get rid of
Sean.
those too.
Sean.
Yeah.
You say you have,
Hacking
you
and
have a rep
Arduino
rep?
board?
Yeah.
Which location?
I remember when those came
There's
out.
one
Yeah.
on
Are
Lemons and
laser cut
Redwood.
parts or
Fairfield.
printed parts?
Oh, okay. Is it?
Well, I spent 3D modeling.
Okay,
That's
well,
what
yeah.
I'm packing
No, I
it
know,
up
but I
and
meant
using it
your. That was the cool thing about rep
And
rep
then
was
I
you
was
could
at
build.
the other location over by-
You know, you bought your motors and your
Yeah.
I can't what the rods and stuff that you could either laser cut or print. You could print out the parts, the rest of the parts for
Oh,
another
for
one.
yourself.
Yeah.
You know, or,
Well,
so I was
they're not
curious
that
if you were.
expensive. Well, no, it's not that expensive to buy.
Yeah, they've been-
That's why I like the platform. It's like
We
you
can
just
stop
buy
by
everything really cheap and then
Yeah.
hack it to do what you want.
That's
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
So your kit probably has laser cut parts then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I think are more precise than
Yeah.
printed parts. At least 10 years ago they were more precise.
Any other short topics?
Before
we go to the program?
The software company Anakin, or toy company Anakin,
Anki.
Anki.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that one. They're gone. They closed the doors. Victor's dead or dying.
Cosmo.
Cosmo's dead or dying. My toy robots are dead or dying.
And everyone's made the little racetrack too, right?
Yeah, they made the racetrack.
Overdrive?
Overdrive.
Something like
Nobody really knows what's going to happen to any of it. I guess that happened 4 days ago. That's
Okay.
it. That's
Ready
it.
to-
That's
ready-
all I got. That's all I know. I don't know anything.
Okay.
I really don't know anything. Trust
Okay,
me.
Laura.
Trust me on this. I really don't know anything.
Well, I don't know anything about Laura, so please share your
Yeah, you're gonna have to go
Share-
back-
your wisdom and knowledge.
Share
go back to square one.
share my not knowing of knowing stuff.
Break out your Swedish accent.
And Saturday's May the 4th will be Earthy Day, don't forget that.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, May the 4th.
May the 4th.
May the 4th.
I got a nephew getting
May the 4th be with you.
Oh, is he? So he could.
married. Not for that reason.
Oh, it
His
just
wife
happened
does
to-
not want
Live
him.
long
I'm trying
and
to find a
prosper.
stormtrooper to crash the reception and just walk across.
Why don't you go ahead and pass that around? That is an Arduino Uno with a Link Sprite LoRa shield on it and a DHT11 temperature sensor. There is an identical, even in the 3D case, out in the car, sitting there telling me that the car is extremely hot right now.
And someone was peeking in.
And somebody was peeking in. So this is that board. That's got another LoRa board on it. That's a D1 Mini ESP8266 with a custom LoRa board.
This is the one in the car.
Yeah, that's the one in the car. See, I knew that's what you were doing. You were just curious about what was in the car.
I checked the door, but it's closed.
Yeah, I know. I did that on purpose because I didn't want you to mess with it.
See a little red light blinking on his dash.
It's that and this both have a custom LoRa board, and you will notice that the boards are actually like kind of upside down from each other. That's because
You changed.
I wasn't paying attention when I soldered them, and
You change your plastic color. Your 3D
Yes.
plastic color.
I went with I was tired of getting all the crap about the blue and the other color, purple. I went with a neutral color.
More professional now.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Actually, it looks kind of
that one, the one in the car, the one that Mike's got, those are they're going to send information. The one that other Mike has is going to receive. And this one here is this is a LoRa 32U board, which Adafruit makes.
So re-describe this.
Re-
Just for a minute.
That's the sender and this is the receiver.
So you got two Wemos.
Yeah. There's
Recognize
a
the
Wemo.
bottom one. What's the top Wemos?
D1 Mini. They're D1 Minis, and then the sender has an SHT30 on it. It's a temperature
The upper board is
Okay.
temperature.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
a temperature sensor. Okay.
temperature sensor. The
Almost-
receiver.
almost empty.
This
The
is
receiver has a D1 Mini, a small OLED, and a custom LoRa board.
Oh, okay.
So
What's this again?
that is that inside of a 3D printed case. That's a dummy. It's sending fake. It's going to send fake information because
Does it have an actual sensor on it?
there's no sensor in it. It's just going to send fake information.
So what's the distance that we can expect out of these units?
So LoRa, the specs say like 10 kilometers
At a very low baud rate.
at a very slow rate, which is what, 6.5 miles?
And what kind of power does it require to reach that far?
Do I see power? Do I see
These
power?
are
Not much.
Yeah,
these are
it's not a lot.
intended to be battery operated, I assume.
Oh,
None of these. So it's-
I don't actually see power. It's
Well, the one in the car is battery powered, right? Or is it in the car's?
no, it's
Car's
actually hooked up to a
Power bank.
power bank, but it may have died because I didn't get any sensor information off of it when I plugged it in. So my power bank may not be very good.
So
The problem that I ran into initially when I first tested these things out a long time ago was they don't seem to penetrate through walls real well, and you need a decent antenna system. But I still was getting decent miles out
What's
off
the
of
frequency?
them. These are all 915
that's a
megahertz.
U.S. standard, and the European standard is
Europe
433.
433. European is 688 or
668.
That's the one. It's
Oh, okay.
Who's the 433?
doesn't say.
That's some of the old stuff.
It doesn't
It's
say.
not lower.
And I don't see what the actual power.
We'd have to pull some charts up or something on that.
At one time, I actually knew what the power was. It's low. It's tiny. It's minuscule. Amount of power.
Yeah, it is intended for battery.
Like
devices.
you can actually run them off of a coin cell and set them up to go into deep sleep. So and they'll run for years like that.
Yeah, it's studied using Atmegas on a deep sleep cycle to try to get a year out of some beverages. And it was very easy to do that.
There we go. 98 degrees. So that's the car. The way I've got these things set up right now, they're all sending about every 2 seconds. So they're sending a node number, a temperature, and a humidity. And we'll pass that around again. It read the node number at least once. I don't know if I don't know if it's going to update or not because it seems like the thick walls and everything, it has a problem going through some of that stuff. And after everybody sees that it actually did read the car, we'll plug in more and we'll play. Doing my best evil mad scientist. So yeah, these are.
So what mesh are you using? Mesh software.
I'm not. I'm just
Oh.
using the LoRa radio
That air conditioner kicking on. It's good one.
library, just the generic.
Oh,
You got
Library.
your
I'm
I
glad I
made-
brought this.
I sort of made my own mesh by telling it to send the node numbers and everything.
So, so
And-
you're not connecting to the Thing network or anything like that, right?
No.
So it's just like peer-to-peer connection.
Yep. Yeah, no, and it's really only talking to that. All of them are actually receiving the data, but
Right.
they're not programmed to do anything with it. That's the only one that's programmed to do something with it. And I actually was trying to do something else. There's buttons on that OLED, and I was trying to make it so I could hit a button and have it click a relay over, and the ESP, the 8266 that I had the relay on kept doing the watchdog interrupt and
Yeah.
failing each
Yeah.
time, and I was like, okay,
Well.
this is going to take a while to figure out why it's doing this, so I gave up.
8.6. 8.6. It's almost healthy.
It's almost human.
Yeah, I tried to get one of those Thing gateways going, one lower gateways going to communicate to the Thing network.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I could not get that thing. I could not get it to work.
I had it talking to Google Sheets, making a spreadsheet.
Yeah, I remember that.
I probably
actually,
could pull that spreadsheet up. It's old.
Yeah.
It's old at this point.
Right.
Now, what's the Things network?
It's like what they're trying to do is produce this like almost open source free network where if I put up a gateway that actually people actually come in and utilize that gateway, you just register it with this Thing network. It's bigger in I don't know what country, but it's European. Right, it's not so big in the United States yet.
Plug the other little guy in.
But you can get on their network and they'll show you
Where
all the
did-
different gateways that scatter
Where did
about.
the other?
Okay.
Yeah, so it's.
Where'd the other Laura? Where'd my?
I got in there. Oh darn! Sorry. Here it is.
It's by your Pepsi going.
Oh,
I'm gonna look it up when I get home.
there's
Yeah.
probably an outlet over there.
Yeah, it's pretty neat though what they're trying to do with it, and then like Leroy said, the ranges of some of them is just unbelievable. When you
Well,
get
drop the
you
7
put it up on the tower.
It's a
You
different
put it up on the
subject.
tower. The range gets to
Oh, Node 3.
miles and miles. I mean,
What's Node 3?
Node
It's
3.
probably that one.
Node 3 would be the one
You
next.
can access them.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you can share that.
yeah.
Well, so now it says
Right,
well,
yeah,
Node
yeah, or
2,
you can
Node
share your
3,
own, basically,
bounce
you,
all over
you
the
just
place.
utilize
Yeah,
the
I just
gateway.
plugged
in
So
Node
if you wanna
4 or Node
communicate
1,
with someone
whichever.
that's 100 miles
Node-
away, it'll,
Node
you know, just
1,
like any cell tower,
Node
bounce,
3,
bounce, bounce.
Node 4 is out in the
It's
car.
just- Yep,
That's
so if you
And
set
that's
one
2.
up, it's like,
Okay.
oh, okay.
2 is the
Register,
dummy
it's like,
information.
okay,
It
put you on the
doesn't
network.
matter.
Doesn't work.
But it's-
People just come in and they
Node 2
utilize
is
it,
84.
as long as you got it
Node
up,
1 is
you got it out there.
76.
Node 2 doesn't count.
Yeah,
Node,
that's right.
Node 2 is
I
just
tried
showing
to
that,
get- I
that
couldn't get that thing
multiples
working
can.
myself.
Saying 57 and 64.
What's your-
Node 2.
Couldn't get it to work.
So
Couldn't
the
get
power's
enough
low. What
information.
is the bandwidth? With these
2 is
8 plus.
both.
What's selectable? There's certain ranges, right?
That's going
Yeah.
Oh, like if you're closer, you
32
get more
seconds, I
bandwidth.
think.
Or if you want to go really low power.
That would eat up your
I
power
see.
more since it's refreshing more
Yeah,
often.
let's see. Let's see if we can find it.
But it's
Yeah, it was
very
very
slow.
It's really the battery operated stuff's probably intended for more like at least a 15-minute.
Yeah, every
A couple
yeah.
weeks ago, we
Okay,
were
so
talking
that's not
about
me.
Once an hour, 30
monitoring
minutes.
beehives, that
Right.
It's
remote
more,
and battery.
it seems
You know,
like it's
need
more
that battery or
compliance.
a solar charged battery,
More
but
compliance and stuff.
something
Like
low
they do,
power.
It's like it does the senior.
But Bob and I have some hives up at
I
the
was
Cedar
just
Creek
thinking
Soaring
of
Club, which is a glider club, and
I don't know.
there's Wi-Fi in the clubhouse. It's about
But I
it's about 600 feet away. It's not too far. You could almost Pringle can Wi-Fi, but you can't support the power
Is that
of
you? That's
that.
not you?
Right.
No.
So it needs to be and I've looked at various
These
things that can handle that distance.
So it doesn't need more. I hadn't actually heard of it or read about it before. What's your experience?
100 and no, that's
I've done some Wi-Fi based, well, and also the NRF 2401,
yeah.
which is a frequency does that run on? It's 2.4.
2.4, yeah.
Yeah. IoT stuff, but I haven't yet played with Laura. Mainly because in most cases you need a gateway if you're going to get into the internet.
Well, that's
Just
one.
kind
That's
of
actually
a-
that's
more
actually one of the
more
nice
integration,
things about
more integration,
using the 8266. I could have that sitting inside the house and gateway it.
That's no chance
Into-
anyway, so.
You say the word laser and Ray shows up.
Is that? That's what happened.
I said laser 10 minutes ago. What took you so long?
He had to come from Florida.
Yeah. Passing everything out.
So there is a little handy calculator, but it doesn't really tell me much. This uses it's using spread spectrum type modulation, so it sends a bunch of different stuff on different frequencies and then pushes it all back together on the other end.
Okay.
Which is one way it can do what it does. And let's see, the smallest bandwidth is 7.8 and the biggest 7.8K kilohertz, and the biggest bandwidth is 500 kilohertz. And I think I'm using the smallest bandwidth on these right now. And my data rate, if I'm playing right, is 300 BPS. So it's pretty slow,
That is slow.
but it's usable.
Yeah, and the power, if you don't care
If-
how
if-
long it takes you to get the data.
Yeah, and if I put the
you know
right
about the
if I
power.
if I put the right numbers into this calculator, then that's true. Of course, if I make a couple of small changes, I could get my data rate clear down to like 60 BPS. The library lets me make all those changes. I'm pretty sure I'm just using the default. Oh, I know I'm just using the default settings on it right now. You could go clear down to 18 BPS if you really, really, really want to, which is really, really slow.
What sort of range then?
It doesn't say what the range is.
But your power, save those batteries. You got a battery, that's what if you put it out in the field or something, that's what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't really need it to be fast. You just
Right.
need it to be reliable.
Yeah.
And actually, for like a real good application, I mean, these antennas are junk. Even the white antenna and that black, they're junk. They're junk antennas. I mean, I'm giving it every possibility of not working, and it still works. So still sort of works.
We'll be back here next to the antenna where the cancers.
Yeah, 915 megahertz cancer right going in at a whole slow baud rate, 300 BPS or something like that. So I really don't have any good answers because I really don't. Laura's still, it's still kind of magic to me. It really is.
Which radio module is that?
It's
RFM
R95. Yeah. I know it'll do GSK and it'll do other modulation schemes too. There's also something called LoRaWAN, which
That's
a wide area network.
protocol on top.
Yeah. It's actually a little bit more than that because it's got encryption built into it. And it's a lot more expensive.
Leroy, do you have any charts that would kind of explain what scenarios would indicate better usage of different modulation methods?
You know that's a loaded question.
I'm actually curious. I'm not trying to stifle you or nothing. And I'm asking because I want to know, is it like outdoor bad weather, through wood walls, through concrete walls, different, in a people crowds, places where you're expecting possible crosstalk?
You're getting into the weeds, man. He's way up in the
Granular.
Yeah, you're getting granular, awful granular for Leroy. You got it to work.
It works.
I know what he's asking because
What are other challenges?
there's four nodes talking right now. They're all running the exact same code with a minor exception of one of the nodes is fake and it's sending fake data, and one of the nodes is got a little bit different temperature sensor on it. Otherwise, they're identical code. And there's no interference on top of them. This thing interprets each packet as it comes in.
So if you change modulation technique, is there a range improvement?
LoRa is probably the best on the range.
Yeah, I thought you were saying that it's within the LoRa that it had.
No,
modulation.
the RFM 95 can do different modulations. The modulation would change. LoRa is a modulation scheme, but it's also a protocol. So
Okay.
if
I
you
thought you were talking
change,
about LoRa being a protocol and having different modulation
No,
schemes
no.
within LoRa.
no,
Okay.
no,
That
LoRa
answers a lot then.
LoRa is a thing, and it's a thing.
We're back out of the weeds. Okay.
So I forget. It can do the module can do a half a dozen different modulation schemes. But if you change the modulation scheme, you're changing. It's not using LoRa anymore. It's using that particular whatever. And the library supports that if you really wanted to change. But I don't know why you'd want to change it. I guess if you had another sensor somewhere that was on a different scheme that's not using it, you might be able to flip it back and forth. I'm not much help. I'm really not. I made it work. This is not a... Did you see it?
I got it in.
The Node 4 is actually out in the car, and it shows up the least because it's having a hard time getting through the walls.
Yeah, let me disconnect the garbage one.
Just because?
Well, then he can actually see the outside. Because they're all, it's
saw
switching
four
so
come in.
much.
I saw 4 coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there. It's
all of them are sending. All of them are sending about 2 seconds. So every 2 seconds or so they send, and we plugged them in at a little bit different times, but that doesn't really mean anything.
0, 1, and 3, and 4.
0 is an error. I don't know where 0 is coming from.
It has to have all the stuff that's in it.
It is interpreting something as being sent that has not.
Are you logging any of this?
Right now I am not, but the code could actually log to Google Sheets.
Using the things that were.
No, it's that was actually, it was sort of hard to set up. There's a document in the thing that tells how I set it up. I set that up many years ago.
I think I'd be just as interested to see it logged to an SD card. Just roll it on the file.
The problem, it's using almost every pin on that D1 Mini.
Yeah.
And the SD card still needs a select pin, and I don't think there's any left for it. So I would have to use a different thing. And the Uno kind of has the same problem. It's using all the pins up to do it.
Leroy, have you used that? Have you actually used that MCU up there, or?
Yeah, that's in that box.
Oh, it's in the box.
It's in that box.
All right. Where'd you get it from? You don't remember?
I did not get it from Adafruit, even though it's an Adafruit board. It came from China.
All right.
But it's marked Adafruit, just like the real one.
Yeah, Adafruit's pretty expensive. I looked that up. It's like.
And I'm sure that I didn't pay anywhere near what Adafruit wanted for it. I bought most of the boards. Most of the boards I bought on AliExpress.
Right. Yeah.
They run around $10 or so.
Yeah. I don't have anything to pipe. I'll probably need to put some of those in the pipe. The China pipe.
Those, I ordered the custom board from somewhere. I found that on GitHub.
Right.
Then I ordered all the parts for it. And this actually this was actually more expensive than just buying a board.
Right.
But I kind of wanted it for the D1 Mini. I mean, all in all, this was like, I think I spent about $20 on this stupid board.
Not to mention the labor.
Well,
that you have to do put it together.
I got more. I've got 2 more that I could put together, but still, it's like $20 a board versus $10 a board. But like the 32U, that doesn't have Wi-Fi built into it. So if you wanted to do a gateway to Wi-Fi, you still need to do something.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you would still need to add a Wi-Fi to that. I mean,
Seriously. Okay, maybe it won't be my next pipe. That's like, get it.
The
I gotta have Wi-Fi.
The 32U, that's the 32U4 is the same as the Leonardo.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a Wi-Fi built into it. I bought that one because it was cheap, because I found it on eBay or AliExpress cheap, and I wasn't expecting it to actually say Adafruit on
Yeah, really.
It'll say anything you want.
it. It could say anything I want. I actually was kind of surprised that it said Adafruit for the cost, for the money that I paid for it. I was like, So this one went to Adafruit, and 2 of these went into the box to send to people that don't pay Adafruit prices.
I think they do their own manufacturing, Adafruit, so it must be a clone. They just
Right.
No
just-
way.
They
China
just
makes
stamp.
no,
Are you saying China would stamp any copyrighted label on anything?
like the
Yeah.
Unos.
Yeah, they stamp
Say
my
made
copyright
in
on top of
Italy.
those, and my copyright on something else.
China would never try to scam us into buying something.
Yeah. So I don't think Adafruit open sources their stuff, their designs, do they?
I honestly don't know. I'm sure I know some of their stuff.
Some of the
Yeah.
stuff, yes, I know they do.
Some
I
of their
don't know if
stuff
it's
is-
everything though.
Some of the stuff they do.
This was
I remember this.
well, I guess it was last year actually. I thought it was longer ago than that.
Pretty toasty there.
Yeah. 175 foot. You notice
It's
it's
a
no
dry heat.
it's node zero too. There was an error somewhere.
That in itself
This was this one. I was trying to see how long one would last on this little crappy battery. No LED on it or anything.
Every 3 seconds or?
No, it was like every 10. It was at like every 10 minutes, and it lasted 7 days on this little tiny crappy.
We'll see how you spend your Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
But part of the fun was getting it to log it to.
You got conditional formatting with the colors.
Yeah. This the one. This might be the one. Battery test posted every 10 minutes. Battery test posted every 10 minutes. Real battery tests. But basically it was to see how long it would last on a crappy battery. This isn't scientific. It's more do it and see what happens kind of stuff.
Real.
When did it start? When did the real test actually start? The real test started on the 11th. And it went, and it went. So, basically, I think we concluded that as I was doing it every 10 minutes, if we did it like every half hour or something, it would last a very long time. 16.
How many rows are in a Google sheet?
As many as you need.
Is that right?
Maybe up to 1 million. I
Google will add another drive if you need it.
19.
The DigiKey's got a little article, Laura Wynn, Part 1, how to get 15-kilometer wireless and 10-year battery life for your IoT.
21st. 22nd. Just
Well,
remember,
actually-
Laura WAN is something different.
Are they start going into
Actually,
our-
the Adafruit module is open source, so
It's
they
not
just
as much as. Okay.
took the files and manufactured it cheap.
Oh,
12 days. 12 days on that little crappy battery.
I think I can sell them these days.
Impressive.
They can
Yeah.
expand
And it's a
to
little crappy
65
battery.
grams.
It's
Something like that.
I'm sure I wrote it somewhere. It's like a 200 milliamp hour battery.
Well, and you probably weren't trying to go into ultra low power mode either, right?
Oh yeah, when I did this, it went to deep sleep,
Black files you can sell.
and I
I
was
thought it would last longer than that.
How long
Was
does
the
battery-
Wi-Fi active?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
never mind.
How long does the battery last if it's not plugged into anything?
Actually, I haven't charged this battery for I don't know when, and it's
Really?
still going. So I paid like 50 cents for this battery, and if it dies, it's going to go away. I've got a stack of these. I bought a bunch of them for. I think I paid like $6 for like 20 batteries or something.
Really? Wow.
And they're little crappy. They're quadcopter batteries,
Mhm.
and they don't have the right connector on them. I just made it work. I'm not picky. If you were doing something though, that's not the battery you'd want. You'd want a decent battery, maybe with a solar charger or something to keep it fresh.
And your microcontroller, you said it was a D1?
D1 Mini, yeah.
Okay.
It's an ESP8266. It's a Wemos D1, right?
It probably, because I started just buying all my D1s from Wemos directly.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm
'Cause-
saying. That-
'cause
they're the ones that came up with that format, I think.
Well, the clones are not anyway.
Well, yeah.
The clones, the Chinese clone of the Chinese brand isn't any good. I've got a couple of them that are not Wemos, and I have problems with them. But
But you're not using the Wi-Fi on it, correct?
for this particular demo, I am not.
Okay.
For
Just the lower board, and you're using that as the processor.
yeah, but the reason why I wanted LoRa on this was because it was a Wi-Fi board, so I could gateway it to something else, like Google Sheets or thing, whatever. So I could actually do something, and then I never really used LoRa beyond playing around with it. Because I don't have a big farm. I don't need sensors everywhere. It's just it's a neat long range thing that's nice to know about, but I don't particularly have any use for it. I can definitely see something like keeping bees or keeping track of something out in a field somewhere.
You run face recognition on your bees behind, so you know when the wasp comes in.
Real slow like. Hey, I recognize something. Hey, you recognize something. It really is good for sensors, and it's really good for something that you don't need to update every second. It's something that, you know, you take a temperature reading and you can wait 6 hours and take another temperature reading, unless it's really, really critical that the temperature stay a constant temperature. You know, that's where I think this particular kind of sensor works really well for it. Because when you put it in low power, it uses almost no power at all to keep it awake.
So when you're in low power, you're actually putting it to sleep, and then what's your read time? Every half hour or so, or?
Well, when I did that test, I did it for every 10 minutes, and you know the code basically boots up instantly. So it booted up, grabbed a reading, and sent it, and posted the reading, and went right back to sleep. So if it was online for more than about 30 seconds, that was way too long. Really, it was popping up within a half a second or so. No, probably less than that. Well, I know it was less than that, because if you go back and you look at the times that it posted, they were all within seconds of each other.
You can check your deviation on that.
And The few times that it failed, it could connect to the internet, and that was on my fault, not its fault. So
Does it know if its last packet was received or not? Can it retransmit it?
yeah, you're asking if there's like an acknowledgement
Yeah.
kind of thing. The protocol says that you can use that. Of course, it uses more power, and you may or may not get the ACK back.
Okay.
Basically, the way I've got this particular demo set up is there is no ACK. It's send it and hope that it gets where it's going. And I mean, if it was critical, you could do handshaking and all that, but then you're using more power to do it. It's going to be on longer.
Yeah. But you could also code it, try 10 times, and if not, just go to sleep anyway. So it wouldn't
Well,
be on much longer, I wouldn't think.
You could probably do that, but yeah,
Mhm.
depending upon how far away the other node is, you're still at 300 baud, or at its slowest speed of 18 baud.
Yeah.
You've still got to wait for it to get where it's going and translate it into whatever packet and come back and say, I acknowledge.
Mhm.
You could just turn on the CRC so that
Well, that doesn't guarantee reception. It just hopefully guarantees accuracy. Hmm.
I've got the CRC on, by the way, and I still get errors. So.
Really?
Well, that node 0 that pops up every
Oh.
now and then, I don't know where that comes from.
Echo in
I think somebody else is playing with Laura somewhere and messing with me. I saw that at the house, so I don't know where that node 0 is coming from.
project you forgot about. It's in the trunk.
It's in the trunk.
Still on my battery.
Sending a signal every 2
Hey,
days.
Node 4 said it must be over 100 in the car because it said it was 9 degrees. It's one of the drawbacks to using a small display. I can't display 3 numbers.
You're supposed to scroll.
It's supposed to scroll. This was really simple. I did not put a lot of thought into it.
Do they have like a smartwatch? That okay.
That's it. Yeah. Here's some string.
You can make one
That's
out of that.
That's an awful big smartwatch.
It's really smart.
It's a G-Shock.
Probably 3D print a band.
It's not much bigger than the old Casio G-Shock that everybody wanted to have in high school.
I remember that thing. It's probably got more memory to it.
Yeah.
Really, I think that's all I've really got. I don't know. Do I need to know more stuff? Do you guys want me to know more stuff?
Checking the web, the new computer, the what's the name? Atomic Pi.
Oh, Tom.
Oh yeah. I saw that. The Atomic Pi.
Mark, this can be used for vision
This thing, it's using a x86 processor instead of a Atom.
A slow one, but yeah.
Not particularly
Atom.
slow.
Compared to any other Intel processor.
It's still 1.9 gigahertz. And it's
I looked up the PC mark on it, and I think it was
It
like
comes with the
12,
operating system installed.
1296, which is pathetically slow.
it's
Ubuntu.
still a quad core.
Ubuntu.
Yeah.
Ubuntu.
It's probably still not running nearly as much code as Windows either. So.
Got 2
It
gigs.
they say that it will actually
runs
run
in
Windows.
Windows 10.
It's got 2 gigs of RAM.
Yeah. 2 gigs of RAM, 16 gig MMC slot.
If shipping charges weren't so high on that, I'd have one on the way out.
They had some at the Micro Center up in Columbus
Did they?
Really?
a month ago or so.
Does it say
You
how
need
many?
you need this too, I think,
Yeah.
to make it work.
You don't absolutely have to, but apparently it makes life
You can
easier.
solder.
It makes life much better. So
The scuttlebutt is that this board was designed for some other product that failed, and then they bought out.
made it work.
Apparently they had like
Yeah, they put in a product.
60,000 of them,
Okay.
Dang.
or something like that.
This
Had to find a use for 'em.
this was it was on Kickstarter apparently,
Yeah,
but
I don't know if it's the same as what the Kickstarter was saying it was going to provide, though. But anyway, yeah,
yeah. Well, what I've read is, I guess you're right. Your life is much easier if you've got the breakout board for it. Otherwise, you've got to figure out how to get power to it or something.
How many GPIO pins are on this?
28. Oh,
All digital?
I think GPIO wise, it's spec'd out like a Raspberry Pi.
Oh,
Is that right?
I don't know. I didn't look into that much detail at the GPIO stuff.
I didn't think it was 28. It's only got 26 pins.
There's a link that says more specs.
Yeah, I thought it
Oh,
was more.
26 pin header.
I thought it was more like 12 GPIO pins.
Maybe I read that wrong.
Maybe one's a common.
Yeah.
What? That's a text document. What? Does this help me?
It's all gibberish to me.
That doesn't help. That looks like 100 pins.
It's like about 40.
There's a quick GPIO list too.
It has Bluetooth 4,
It's-
Ethernet,
This
internal
is
navigation
56.
sensor with compass.
That's if you buy that extra one.
Seems like you.
I think it run Linux pretty well. 2 gigs of RAM and that processor.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a video of it running Ubuntu 1804. And it's
It comes with 1804,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Yeah.
26 pin header for power and GPIO below.
Maybe it's more. Maybe GPIO is more like the original Raspberry Pi.
yeah, 'cause it's got power on almost half those pins.
I don't really see where it says. I think you'd have to decipher what they're trying to tell you here.
Leroy, thanks for presenting. Thanks for bringing stuff in.
No problem. Hopefully it actually makes sense. I ought to run around one day again, put the GPS on the one that's in the car and run around again and see just how far I can get again. One of the spreadsheets that is in my folder up there, it's got a list of all the GPS points that I had, and I had a little map of it, and I swear I got better than 6 miles out of it. See, some of this looks like it's being used for something, so it's not really GPIO.
Atomic Pi has 6 GPIO pins available to users.
Where did you see that?
It's
Real
flip
small.
me over to that screen. I'll show you where I'm reading that. It's on a different screen. It's just I did a search right there where the cursor is. See that? Right there.
Oh, well, that's not much GPIO at all. So now I don't know what I would use this thing for.
Well, it's got 6 pins that are GPIO, but it also has serial port 1 on pin 15, 16, serial port 2 on 22 and 23. Pins 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 17 are ground. Pins 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13 are 5 volt.
This is
Pin 1's optional 12.
Yeah, that's all in the 26 pin header.
That's on the 26 pin header.
Okay. Yeah. The alarm.
We're running out of time. I got a question. Are you guys going up to Hamvention?
Is that in Greene County?
Maybe.
Waynesville? No,
Waynesville.
Xenia.
Xenia, Green. When is it?
It
Green
is
County
May
Fairgrounds.
17th, 18th, 19th.